How would you like to know that there is one technique that allows you to create the life that you want? Interested? Stay tuned to the end of this video and you shall find out. In the meantime, welcome back to episode 6 of Motivated by Pain. As you can probably see, I made some changes to the background wall. I hope you don't mind. In this episode, I'll talk about the power of imagination. I will teach you how to use the tool described in episode 2, which is visualization. I will show you how to harness its power so you can create the life that you want. And once you have it in your mind, it's just a matter of time until you open your eyes and step in it. The great mind of Einstein once said, "Imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions." Let's just start by defining what imagination is. Imagination is the mental faculty that allows us to create new conditions in our life. It's what we use to create pictures in our mind, and from those pictures we move on to visions. Therefore, we call it visualization. You get it? Visions plus imagination equal visualization. The world we live in today is the perfect example. Everything you have around you, like the phone or computer you're watching this video on, or the clothes you wear, or the car you drive, the house that keeps you safe and shelters you from the outside conditions, they all came from someone's mind under the form of images or visions. What made them become real in the form of something physical is the process of laying them on paper and finding out the appropriate steps and materials in order to build them. Just like an architect building a house, we have to do the same. You never see an architect building a house until the whole project is finalized. He knows exactly what should go and where and how it should look as a final product. Well, on the same principle, in order to start building something in the outer world, we must first have it finished in the inner world of our mind. And then, from that final product, start tracing our steps back to the first step of the process, which is usually writing it down and reviewing it. Van Gogh said it perfectly. First, I dream a painting and then I paint my dream. Imagination, it's just like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. So if at first you find hard visualizing, just keep doing it and soon enough you'll catch yourself doing it with ease. You'll see that the more you repeat the vision, the clearer it will become, and the more things will get added to it along with solutions to make it come true. This is the process of creation, and we are all creators thanks to our imagination. But when it comes to using imagination for creating favorable outcomes in our lives, most of us tend to do quite the opposite. Most of us tend to use this great power to see what we don't want. We focus on the negative side of things and how they won't work in our favor. And once we focus on something, that's exactly what we'll get. We have been conditioned by this society to live in fear. The fear of failure, the fear of not fitting in, the fear of being laughed at for our ideas that do not conform to the ordinary. Well, to hell with the ordinary. Grab your balls and go and show everyone what extraordinary looks like. Pause and think for a second. Think of all the visionaries of this world. They are the ones we should all thank for the things that we have around us. They dared to go against what everyone said, and despite all the opposition from the outer world, they brought their visions into existence. So why not follow their footsteps and use this great power in the best possible ways? The only thing that stops you is you. I will now exemplify how to make the most of it by showing you how to visualize a positive and a negative outcome and use them both to your advantage. The first one is the negative side, and this is from the last few days of me being a drug addict. The first thing I did was to picture the result of my current lifestyle. I took a good look at who I was, my habits, my personality, my finances, my job, my relationships, and I pictured myself 10 years into the future without making any changes. And let me tell you how sad that shit was. All I could see was an unhappy and dysfunctional family always arguing. Arguing because of the lack of time spent with my wife and kids due to the long hours of work. Arguing because of the lack of money due to the job only paying the living wage. And because of not being a real man and father to my kids due to my drug addiction that only got worse. I saw my kids in an environment that no kid should grow up in. One of loud and violent arguments full of toxic substances and behaviors that would inevitably be passed down onto them. I saw my kids having to ask other men for fatherly advice because they didn't see me as a real man. I felt the warmth of my wet tears streaming down my face and the pain of my loved ones caused by me because I wasn't man enough to stop before it got out of control. I don't know about you, but that scared the shit out of me. I want to be an example that my kids want to follow without me having to force them into doing anything. I want a woman for the rest of my life and not a dozen divorces like most marriages nowadays. I want the best this life has to offer. That was the negative vision. And now this is the positive one. Just listen to this. The second one is once again me in 10 years. But this time I took action towards my dreams. Here's the difference. This time I stopped the drug addiction and beating myself down right away, and I took action on the countless written plans I had in my notes. Within 1 year, I had great and consistent mental and physical health. I have started my YouTube show, and I took seriously the study of the mind and body. I was going to seminars and conventions to meet new people, new ideas, and new opportunities. Within 2 to 3 years, I had my own business in motivational speaking with loads of satisfied customers. I was going to different countries to speak to people on the big stages. I saw myself shaking thousands of hands, and I felt the thousands of hugs from people. I heard people thanking me with tears in their eyes for showing them how to change their lives and for showing them that they mattered. I fully felt the gratitude of the moment. That was so humbling. I have bought my first home, and I took care of my loved ones so they wouldn't have to worry about money anymore. Within 3 to 5 years, I managed to get married to my loving woman, and we're expecting our first kiddo, while every other part of my life was thriving. I had multiple streams of income generating money all the time. I had the freedom to do what I wanted, when I wanted, and where I wanted. And I was up there with the grades of motivation and high performance. The people I once used to look up to, I was now doing it with them. That was the birth of my dream. And because I described it in such detail, embedded emotion and the 5 senses into it, it stayed with me. And that's how you can use your imagination to visualize great pain or amazing pleasure. Either way, you can use them both to your advantage. For me, the negative side pushed me out of the rut I was in, and the positive side dragged me towards it. You can call this visualization. I call it premonition. It's just a matter of time and hard work until everyone else will be able to see it too. And it will definitely happen. Maybe not in the specified time frame, but it will definitely happen. Now here's a funny thing. This episode was written last year around 4 months ago, along with parts of the first 5 episodes. And last week, while reviewing this episode, I realized that the first steps of this vision have already been initiated. I have opened my YouTube show, I have quit my job and started my business as a motivational speaker and a psyche facilitator, and I can't explain in words how good this feels. Now, if you have a dream, why don't you try this technique and see where it takes you? Break down your dream into small visions. There's nothing to lose anyway. I forgot to tell you a vital piece of information. See, in order for me to actually see my visions come true, I had to kill every single negative thought that was coming into my mind. So any thought that goes against your vision, you must stop it straight away. And that's episode 6, reaching its end. Stay tuned for episode 7, where I'll teach you how to be more self-aware. Comment, like, share, and remember to subscribe. And also, don't forget, believe and you shall become.